Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Hi everyone, so my name is Andrea. I am the nutritionist and health coach at Healthy Trucker. Healthy Trucker is a wellness program that was created for the trucking industry. And that program was created by NAL Insurance, the parent company that I actually work out of. So if you aren't familiar with NAL Insurance does WSIB alternative coverage for owner-operator truck drivers. And we currently insure over 10,000 owner-operators and 300 fleets across Canada. So a few years ago, back in about 2012, 2013, the team at NAL, which is now my coworkers, realized that they were seeing a big spike in the occurrence of claims that were coming in, disability claims. And not only were they seeing a rise in the number of claims, but they were seeing that drivers were going off on claim for much longer than they normally would need to. And a big part of this was because of their health. So when a driver would go off on disability because, say, he had a shoulder injury, for example, sometimes what would happen is that that driver would need surgery, but their doctor would refuse to do the surgery simply because that driver was in such poor health. Maybe they were a smoker, as well as being overweight. Maybe they were also on several different types of medications. They had diabetes. All of those factors put them at such a great risk for having that surgery that the doctor would refuse to do so. And then that driver would have to be off because they weren't able to get the surgery that they needed in order to get back to their job. So, NAL Insurance, they had a choice to make. Do we want to take a reactive approach and increase the cost of premiums? Or do we want to take a proactive approach and try to improve the health of these drivers? And of course, with me being here, they took the proactive approach and they made the Healthy Trucker program that was born in 2013, and I joined the program in 2014. So, that being said, what I do is I travel around to fleets, to different conferences and events in the trucking industry, and I educate them on living a healthier lifestyle on the road. I also create and administer various programs and challenges for the trucking industry. And one of the things that I do at those events is to encourage people to stretch, encourage people to get a little bit of more movement in throughout their day. So what I'm actually going to be doing is leading you guys through a little bit of a stretch break. Stretching is absolutely crucial to our health, just like physical exercise or a healthy diet is. So when it comes to stretching, why do we need to stretch? Well, I usually present earlier in the day at events like these, but I'm actually quite happy that I get to present later on in the day. And the reason for that is because we have been sitting here now in a chair for most of the day. Now, we did have, of course, great breaks, and we had the lunch, and we were able to move around through that, and that was great. However, many of you are probably starting to notice that you're getting a little bit tense. You've been sitting in the chair, staring up at the stage for most of the day, and maybe you're feeling some tension. Maybe you have a couple of knots in your back like I do, and I need to get those worked on this week. Maybe you have some old injuries that are creeping up, and you're starting to feel the pain from those. So if any of you are feeling that, you need to start stretching, all right? And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So if I could have you stand up, and you know what, let's get a little bit comfortable. If you're wearing a blazer or a suit jacket, go ahead and take that off if you want to. Optional, but I do encourage you to do so. All right, so we will be stretching, and you might want the extra range of motion, all right? Now the problem with sitting in the same position all day, which is something that drivers are doing, is that it's not only physical. They're not only feeling the physical effects of that, but they're also feeling the mental effects of that, right? So part of that is that they lose concentration. You might notice that you're having a little bit of a harder time concentrating this afternoon than you were this morning, simply because you've been doing it for so long and you've been staying still for so long. That's why we want to get the blood moving and get the circulation going so that we can increase that alertness. That's another thing that drivers lose. They lose alertness. The fatigue starts to set in. And what happens when drivers aren't alert? What happens when drivers have fatigue? Collisions increase, and that's a serious risk for our drivers, and that's something that we need to proactively deal with. Now for you guys, maybe it's not as much of a safety issue, but it is still crucial in getting your brains working optimally, making sure that you don't have that pain and that tension. So now let's go ahead and get started. When you are sitting at a table or in in a chair like this, it's quite similar to a driver that's sitting behind a wheel. You're not really able to move much. You're kind of metaphorically chained to the chair because you're not able to move around and stretch like you normally would. So I'm going to target the key areas that get the most tense when you are sitting like this. And it's the same for an office worker, a driver, somebody sitting in a conference. So we're going to start with the neck. This one is really simple. All you're going to do is tuck your chin to your chest. And even though I want you all to keep your chin tucked to your chest, however, I'm not going to do it right now just because the mic is right there. I don't want to blasting the sound that loudly. So as you're doing that, you'll notice that this is probably one of the most simple stretches that you can do at any time of day. However, you're probably feeling a good stretch from that, right? Because it's not something that you've been doing at all throughout the day. Now you can go ahead and lift your chins back up, and we're going to stretch the sides of your neck just by tilting your ears to your shoulders. So left ear to left shoulder. You'll feel that in the right side of your neck. Probably quite a bit if you're like me right now. And then you can tilt to the right. Now ideally we want to hold each stretch for about 30 to even 60 seconds, but for time's sake I tend to just move through these a little bit quicker. Alright, you can kind of shake that out a little bit. Alright, we're going to stretch out the upper back, between the shoulder blades especially. So I want you to clasp your hands in front of you, and then you're going to reach them forward as far as they will go without you actually bending at the waist. You just want to extend that fist forward. So you're going to feel that stretch right between your shoulder blades, right? Alright, you can go ahead and release that. Now, we stretch out the back, but that's not as important as this next body part. So we actually need to stretch out the chest even more than the back, because when you're sitting at a steering wheel, or when you're sitting at a desk, or when you're just sitting at a conference such as this one, and you're maybe making notes, or you're just relaxed over the table, you're getting very tense in the shoulders, and that's when the forward shoulder starts to come in, the bad posture starts to come in. So as much as possible, you need to be stretching out the chest. So this one, again, is very simple. I want you to start by getting as good a posture as you possibly